evening and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. I hope you guys are well. Told you we'll be back with more. Oh, and you can stop writing in now. Those of you who have worked out which perfume it is, you don't win anything. Anyway, right, I can't believe it, but we're going to be making another Aventus themed video. As sure as God made little green apples, YouTube fragrance people will be talking about Aventus. Now, I don't know about you, but I have a very love-hate relationship with this particular fragrance. I don't own the original. I've had decants of it many, many times, and every now and again I kind of publicly announce that I'm over that DNA, and I think I am. And then what happens is there'll be a nice day, or I'll be going out with my wife or something, and I think, God, I really fancy wearing Aventus. Now, I'd never buy Creed's Aventus. I have other fragrances from Creed, so it's not that I'm hating on the house. I just think Aventus is incredibly expensive for what it is, and obviously with batch variations, with questionable quality, I just think spending that much money on a fragrance, I'll be better off investing it somewhere else. And also I think Aventus has lost a little bit of the magic. Not the scent profile. I think the scent profile is fantastic. It's a groundbreaking fragrance. It's a fragrance that's introduced lots of people into niche perfumery, and fundamentally it smells amazing. But I think I'm going back to that, I'm over it, and I do feel like that. It's lost a bit of the magic. I think a lot of that has to do with the varying bottles of quality. I think also Creed's change in ownership has had some kind of detrimental effect on their creativity and what they're putting out there at the moment. And also it doesn't stand out as much as it used to, because there are so many different versions of it. You've got the main players making their clones, if you want, and then you've got all the smaller houses, the smell-alikes, the dupe houses, the really small ones that pop up on Facebook and stuff like that. They all have their own version of it. So you smell it all the time. I live in London, as most of you know. When I'm on the tube or if I'm at work, I will smell it at least once during my day. Now, I know that sounds quite weird, because we do have quite a lot of subscribers from America, and some of these are in much more rural places, but I just wanted to reiterate that, where you live, maybe you don't smell anybody else wearing a fragrance, and that's fine, because, it's the same as if you lived in sort of kind of more rural areas of England. But in cities in the UK, fragrance is incredibly popular, and you will smell it a lot. When I'm at work, I work in London, every day I'll smell Sauvage at least once, probably 4 or 5 times, and I will certainly smell Aventus or an Aventus type. So it is for me a very, and of course Baccarat Rouge BR 540, I smell that pretty much every day as well, or a clone, or Ariana Grande Cloud or something like that, but that kind of DNA. So we are kind of in a world that's saturated, well, certainly in my little part of the world, it's saturated. So it's not a profile that I particularly like to wear very often, but I do get the urge to wear it. Now, there are 3 we're looking at today. One has absolutely blown me away and made me fall back in love with Aventus, and I can't actually stop wearing it. And there are another 2. So I'm not doing a comparison, because there's a clear winner. One is head and shoulders above the others. But just to show you what I've been wearing when I get that Aventus itch that I like to scratch. So first up, you've got to go and have a look. I like, this is the limited edition Club de Nuit Parfum, which is Aventus-like, but it's not quite Aventus. It's a lot thicker, it's a lot heavier, more of that in a bit actually, and it's a kind of more of a vanilla laden dry down, but I like it. Performance is really, really good, and again, it scratches a itch. I don't wear it very often, but when I do, it does the job perfectly well. The other one I quite like is an Afnan one, which is called Supremacy, and not only, but also, or some other crap, and that's that one. So I will just say quickly, both of these, the boxes have gone berserk. The presentation's unreal for the pair of them. I like the look of the bottles. They're very, very similar in terms of colouring, so they've completely been influenced by each other. The Afnan Supremacy one, this to me smells more like Nishanes Hashavat, with the pineapple ramped up, and it's a bit more mossy, so it's not a true kind of Aventus clone. but it does have that kind of Aventus vibe to it, in the same way I suppose Hashivat does as well. So I do wear this one occasionally. Both of these have got absolutely biblical performance. They go on for days. It's too much, in fact, I think, especially with this one, because it seems to really amplify the oak moss, which I find a little tedious after a while. But it's I mean, they're great perfumes. They're really good perfumes. I'm not criticising them at all. But there's a new player on the market, and this is the main focus of the video. And this is from Insider Parfums, who have been making quite a niche for themselves. They've replicated really hard to find and sort of extinct dormant fragrances. Tom Ford's Amber Absolute, which is called Dambo Absolute, is a fantastic fragrance. They have their take on Tom Ford's Moss Breeches, and they also have done a couple of the other Tom Fords as well. Excellent quality, really, really good. And I love what they're doing, bringing back these sort of hard to find perfumes. So they've taken on in Aventus now, and they've called this one Insidious. And we need to talk about this because this is some serious, serious perfumery. Insidious has definitely reignited my interest in that Aventus scent profile, because this is how I remember Aventus when I first tried it. They have absolutely nailed it. So basically, this project stemmed from frustration with Aventus's performance and how it's changed and how people remember it. So what the guys at Insider Parfums have done is they've canvassed quite a lot of people. You know, we've got these, what we call in the UK, batch wankers. Bus wankers! And they've asked them and spent time with them, and they've made multiple different versions of this and sent samples out to people that actually know what they're talking about, that still have the old batches, and decided to kind of take feedback from lots of people and create what it can only be described as like a Frankenventus, which has taken the best bits of the older batches, and they have absolutely nailed it. So when we're doing a straight comparison, or I thought originally about doing a straight comparison video, you can't. These are huge. I think they're either 100 or 120 mil, and they're like £40. These massive bottles, these amazing presentation, biblical performance. So these are your go-to cheap-ish, inspired by Aventus fragrances. This is a bit more special. This is only a 50 mil, and it's twice the price of these. This is about £80 in the UK at the moment. So, you know, we're not comparing apples with apples here. We're comparing two really industrial-like clones or inspirations of Aventus with something that absolutely nails it. They're different quality, different leagues, different everything. This is the one. If you want to smell like Aventus, if like me you're quite old and you remember Aventus when it first came out and as it's come along, this is where you want to be looking. It's £80 for 50 ml, so it's still a fraction of the cost of a new bottle of Aventus, and certainly, you know, a spit in the ocean compared to what you'd be paying if you were trying to buy a 50 ml of an old batch, which is hundreds and hundreds of pounds now. So this is your gateway to happy Aventus memories. And these two are Aventus-like workhorses. All right, so that's enough of the comparison between the three. We're now just going to focus on Insidious, how it wears, what it's like, and how have they captured that magic. I'm going to spray a little bit now because it has that opening that you think, oh, you know, we all make that noise when we smell Aventus the first time, surely. There you go. Fruits for days. It's just everything that you want. A little bit of blackcurrant, heavy on the pineapple, bit of bergamot. Oh, gorgeous. And it just excites you. There's no bloody chemical smell. There's no alcohol burn off waiting to happen. This is just bash. Aventus hits your skin and makes you smile. And although I said I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to have to bring these two back into it. These two are the same as pretty much every Aventus clone that I've ever smelt. They never ever can get it right, and I'll tell you why. Because Aventus and Insidious do something completely different. They're light, they're crisp, they're very well defined perfumes. The clones always to me are gloopy. you know, they might smell in that area, but it smells heavy, it smells thick. It's like a, you know, as opposed to that means nothing to you, but to me it means quite a lot. The way that the clone of Aventus, from wherever you've got it from, generally hits your skin. It hits your skin heavy. The only one actually that doesn't was Zara's Vibrant Leather. That kind of got that lightness, that deftness of touch. But unfortunately with that one, and that's my son's favourite perfume, the performance is shite. So it's a bit of a, you know, it's okay for wearing around the house, etc. But the point I'm trying to make is it's deft, it's light, it's precise, it's delicate, it's interesting, and it smells like high quality perfumery. And that is the secret of Insidious. It captures every element you want from Aventus, but does it well. It does it with such panache, with such aplomb. It's beautifully done. And you will get the fruits develop, just like Aventus. When the Aventus that I remember, it's not fleeting. It's not just, here's a bit of pineapple, here's some bergamot, here's a bit of blackcurrant, off you go, we're on to the birch now. It doesn't happen like that. You spend time with the fruits here. Okay, they're really, really noticeable, and that melange of fruits, you can actually pick out the different accords in this fruity mix. It's delicious, but it's so crisp. And then slowly that mossiness starts to creep into the fragrance. And it's just like Aventus. And as that moss develops, you'll get a little bit of the birch, and the birch will come in. It doesn't get that smoky though. I think it could have probably been a bit smokier, but it's definitely there. And I'm splitting the most minute of hairs here. This is Aventus to me. If you know, not giving anybody any ideas of criminal enterprise, but if you filled an old bottle of Aventus up with this stuff and just gave it to someone and said, look, this is a vintage bottle of Aventus, they believe you. Absolutely they would believe you, because it is that bloody accurate. And then as things develop, it will have a little bit of vanilla. There's almost a little bit of, I don't know, like a musky sort of naughtiness in the dry down, which is fantastic. It just sets this off. And what you will know is that as Insidious goes through the gears and takes you to its eventual fruition, you've found every facet of Aventus that you've ever wanted to have again, and it's all here in this little bottle, and it is absolutely brilliant. So we then have to ask ourselves, does it last? Because this has been one of the biggest problems with the various Aventus batches, is they're fleeting, especially in their first year. Apparently they tend to get better if you've left them in a fridge for 10 years or something, and then, you know, bring them out to celebrate, you know, I don't know, a full moon or some kind of major dramatic event. I don't want to do that with a perfume. I don't mind a perfume aging and sort of aerating and getting better with time. That's perfect. But I'll buy, if I'm spending the best part of 300 quid on a bottle of perfume, I want to wear it. I don't want to stick it in a fridge for 12 months. Can you imagine that? Where's the sense in it? And thankfully with Insidious, you just pick it up and spray it. It's good to go. So let's talk about the performance of Insidious now. Performance-wise, it's managed to do something, an Aventus batch that I have not tried in a long time. Is actually, you know, these guys can do it. Aventus don't seem to, or Creed don't seem to be able to do it, which I find surprising. So when you spray this, first of all, as I mentioned, you'll get those beautiful fruits, and it's loud. It projects. It has a really intoxicating sillage, and it's enticing. Even my wife, my long-suffering wife, went, "Oh, you smell nice." And this happens, I mean, I've mentioned it on a few videos where my wife has actually complimented me. It does happen, it just doesn't happen a lot. But when it does, I know that the seal of approval has been passed. So she rates this, and that's, you know, something she doesn't say about these. So the projection is strong. The sillage is incredibly noticeable, and that leads us to the longevity. The longevity is absolutely brilliant. When I've worn this to work now, 3 times, I kind of lose it a little bit after maybe 3-4 hours. I'm just thinking I can still smell it there, but I don't know if I'm still in a bubble or not. But it gets a compliment, and someone will say, "Oh, you smell nice," which is fantastic. Now, I still don't, and these are people that I don't know, by the way. I still don't know if I class this as "you smell nice" as "I can smell you" is probably more likely what they're saying. But the fact that it is noticeable for people around me 3-4 hours in, or sorry, 4-5 hours in, means that the performance is spot on. When I come home from work, the first thing I generally do is take the dog for a walk, and then I jump in the shower. And it's when I'm getting undressed to get in the shower, I can smell it. clear as day. It's something about changing the atmosphere that you're in. So, you know, if you're in a room and you don't think you can smell yourself, sometimes you go into another room and then you go back, you can still smell your sillage. So performance-wise, this is on the money. It's perfect. It's exactly how old school Aventus would perform. You know, very noticeable, long-lasting, smells great, and it has defined stages. I cannot say enough good things about this. The guys Insider Parfums did send me this, but there's a funny story. They were meant to send me a bottle for review, but I got forgotten, and then I bought it. I put my card details in, bought the bottle, and then I got a message back saying, look, we've refunded your purchase, we're sending you a bottle anyway. We meant to send you it, but we forgot. It's probably because we haven't made a video in donkey's years. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is this is that good, I wanted to buy it for myself. And when I eventually get through this, I will buy it for myself. What I might also do is sell these, because they're kind of superfluous to me now. I don't need them. If I want to scratch that Aventus itch, I'm only ever going to pick this up. These two are great and I love them, but I don't love them as much as I love this. This is what I want to wear when I want to smell like Aventus, or smell of Aventus, and this is what I'll always wear now. I don't need to go anywhere near buying a decant or a bottle of Aventus from Creed. I don't need to pay silly shop prices because I've got this for me to use, and it is perfect. So yeah, a really gushing video. And again, it does seem quite strange that all these years after starting the channel we're still talking about Aventus clones, but you know, it is that much of a legendary fragrance. It's always going to be kind of infiltrating into the world of fragcom. I think, you know, Creed absolutely made something amazing, and even that, I mean, good grief, you know, who made it? We know who made it. You know, there's been a book written about who's actually really made Aventus. So everything about the history of the perfume is sketchy, let alone the performance and all the rest of it. Thankfully, I can just pick this up, spray it, and go, and not worry about any of that. I will smell amazing. People will notice that I smell amazing, and I will feel bloody great. So, in closing, bravo. Insider Parfums smashed it out of the park and have redefined the whole Aventus clone genre for me personally, and I'm sure it will be for you. So if you are an aficionado of the king, get yourself a bottle of this. You will not regret it. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. We will see you soon on the next video. So cheers, thanks, and bye!